It says the truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe. Truly wise knows the nature of the universe. Okay? Using laws against laws, the higher against the lower, right? As above, so below. That's why I'm saying that. The higher against the lower. And by the art of alchemy, transmute that which is undesirable into which is worthy. This is why we got to do what we got to do in society. Because it's on us to help change what is undesirable into what is worthy. That's another term for what? The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. It's all transmutation. It's all a mental game. But we gotta recognize it. Once we recognize, okay, this is 90% mental, 10% action. Let me get my mental right. So when I put in this action, it's quality. It's deliberate. It's intentional. I have discernment in the way that I move. I'm not just moving. Appreciate the love, right? So let's keep reading. It says, and thus triumph. All right. It says, but that says, and thus triumph, excuse me, that which is undesirable into which is worthy, and thus triumphs. So once you get from, okay, undesirable to worthy, and you win with it, I'm saying this to say this. This is what people are doing out here when they win it. So if you in the 99%, the only way to do it is by universal law. Get the blindfolds off and start using universal law, because this is what they're using against us. This is what they're using, universal law, because you can't run away from it. It's the foundation, the principles for everything. Once you start to understand universal law, then you can understand how they can manipulate consciousness. Then you can understand how they can program us. Then you can understand why they can play both sides, the savior and the tyrant. But if you don't understand universal law, you'll still be sheep instead of wolves in sheep clothing, or lions in sheep clothing, or a bear in sheep clothing. I ain't saying ain't nothing wrong with being a sheep or a lamb. I just know that's one of the weakest animals on the planet. So in order to take care of them, sometimes you got to disguise yourself. So all I'm saying is we got to get back to universal law, understanding what's going on out here at a universal level. What is universe, right? What we got, right? I know I said this in the previous episode, but uni is one, consisting of one, right? What is verse? Denoting an area of activity of interest or a section in society, right? Distinguished by a particular characteristic. So it's what? It's one denoting an area of activity of interest or a section in society distinguishing by a particular characteristic. So when we talk about universal law, that's what we talk about. One denoting to an area of activity. Laws are what? Areas of activity. The polarity is an area of activity. Karma is an area of activity. Correspondence is an area of activity. Mental transmutation is an area of activity. We have to understand what we're dealing with here from a basic point of view, from a common sense point of view. We cannot continue to get flattered by this information just to make us feel good, and then we go back, smoke the joint, and then we live in life regularly.